We live in a world that is obsessed with the visual. From the moment you wake up, society tells you that your value and your ability to attract a partner is based entirely on what can be seen in a photograph. You are taught to focus on the perfect eyeliner wing, the right dress size, the curvature of your waist, and the highlight on your cheekbones. And because of this, most women spend an exhausting amount of energy curating their exterior. You stand in front of the mirror, critiquing every angle, wondering if this is the version of you that will finally be enough to keep his attention. But here is the uncomfortable truth that men rarely articulate but always feel. Visual beauty is only the hook. It is never the anchor. You have likely seen this play out in your own life. You've seen the woman who is technically perfect on paper, stunning, polished, flawless, yet men seem to lose interest in her after a few weeks. Conversely, you've seen the woman who might be casually dressed, perhaps messy haired, not fitting the standard beauty mold, yet men are absolutely captivated by her. They orbit her. They can't take their eyes off her. Why does this happen? It is because men are biological scanners. While they appreciate beauty, their subconscious mind is scanning for something much deeper, something that cannot be applied with a makeup brush. They are scanning for signals. They are noticing the way you move, the way you hold space, and the energy you project when you think no one is watching. The things that actually make you magnetic are often the things you aren't even aware you are doing. Today, we are going to stop focusing on the decoration and start focusing on the foundation. We are going to uncover the invisible signals that bypass a man's logic and go straight to his emotional core. The concept of magnetism versus chasing. Before we dive into the specific traits, we need to fundamentally shift how you view attraction. Most modern dating advice is built around the concept of chasing, even if it's disguised as effort. It tells you to text him this specific script, to post this specific photo to get a reaction, or to play a game of cat and mouse to keep him interested. But think about the physics of that dynamic. If you are chasing something, it means that thing is running away from you. That if you are constantly trying to get his attention, you are subconsciously signaling that you do not already have it. Magnetism is the exact opposite of chasing. A magnet does not run after the metal. A magnet simply sits there, resting in its own nature, and the metal is pulled toward it by a force that feels inevitable. This is the energy we are going to cultivate today. When you are magnetic, you are not doing more. In fact, you are often doing less. You are removing the desperate, frantic energy of trying to prove your worth and replacing it with the calm, grounded certainty that you are a prize. This distinction is crucial because men can smell the difference between a woman who is acting to get a reaction and a woman who is simply being herself. When you try to perform for a man, it creates a subtle pressure. He feels like he is being managed or manipulated. But when you embody true magnetism, he feels a vacuum, a space that he desperately wants to fill with his presence. We are going to move you from the exhausting state of the hunter always looking for validation to the powerful state of the siren, the one who simply exists and draws the world to her shores. The promise of the instant shift. You might be thinking, this sounds great, but it sounds like it will take years of therapy or a personality transplant to achieve. That is the best part. It doesn't. The traits we are about to discuss are not personality changes. They are micro adjustments. They are small, subtle shifts in your behavior and mindset that yield immediate results. The moment you implement them, the feedback loop from the men around you will change. We are going to cover 10 specific things. Men notice 10 psychological triggers that range from the way you handle silence to the way you accept a compliment. Some of these will surprise you because they go against everything you've been told about being nice or accommodating. As we go through this list, I want you to visualize yourself in these scenarios. Imagine the man you desire, whether he is someone you just met or a husband of 20 years. These techniques apply to every stage of a relationship because they trigger the primal male instinct to pursue and protect. You are about to hand over the keys to his subconscious. Let's begin with the first and perhaps most physically noticeable shift, the physics of slow motion. The physics of slow motion The rush versus the rhythm. Let's talk about speed. In our modern world, we are conditioned to believe that faster is better. We text fast, we walk fast, we talk fast, and we multitask constantly. For a woman, this often manifests as a high-functioning anxiety. You might feel that to be impressive, you need to show him how efficient you are. You answer his questions before he finishes asking them. You rush to fill the silence. You are constantly checking your phone, moving from one task to another, vibrating at a frequency of busy. While this might make you an excellent employee, it is absolutely fatal to magnetism in a romantic context. When a man is in the presence of a woman who is rushing, his nervous system picks up on that frantic energy. It feels chaotic. It signals to him that you are not safe, that you are not grounded, and that you are reacting to the world rather than commanding it. High speed is often a subconscious signal of insecurity. It says, I have to hurry, or I might miss out, or I have to be quick, or I won't be heard. Contrast this with the woman who has mastered the art of slowness. Think of the most iconic, seductive women in history or cinema. Do they run? Do they stumble over their words? No. They move as if they are moving through water. They have their own internal rhythm that is completely unaffected by the chaos around them. When you slow down your physical movements, you send a powerful psychological signal to a man, I am in control of my time. A queen does not run. A queen moves at her own pace, and the court waits for her. When you are on a date, or even just sitting on the couch with your partner, I want you to consciously drop your speed by about 20%. Walk a little slower. Turn your head to look at him with a gradual, deliberate motion rather than a jerky snap. This slowness creates a sense of luxury. It tells him that you are comfortable in your skin. It also forces him to slow down. When you are calm, his heart rate actually drops to match yours. You become a sanctuary. In a world that is demanding and loud and fast, being the woman who operates in slow motion makes you the most addictive drug on the planet to a stressed out man. He doesn't just notice it, he craves the peace that radiates from your rhythm, hand movements, and tactile grace. Now, let's get specific with your body language. If you want to see how magnetic a woman is, watch her hands. The hands are one of the most expressive tools you have, yet most women are completely unaware of what their hands are doing during an interaction. When you are nervous, your hands tend to be fidgety. You might pick at your cuticles, wring your hands together, tap on the table, or clutch your phone tight like a shield. These are leakage behaviors. They leak your anxiety out into the open. A man notices this. He might not consciously say, she is picking her nails, but his gut feeling says, she is anxious, she is uncomfortable, and that breaks the spell of attraction. To become instantly more magnetic, you must master tactile grace. This means treating every object you touch as if it is precious. Visualize a woman holding a wine glass. The nervous woman grips the stem tightly, perhaps lifting it up and down rapidly. The magnetic woman traces the rim of the glass with her fingertip. She holds the stem lightly, almost carelessly. Her movements are fluid, not jagged. When you touch your own hair, don't just frantically tuck it behind your ear to get it out of the way. Smooth it back slowly. Let your fingers linger near your neck for a split second. These small, tactile moments are mesmerizing to the male brain. You have to remember that men are visual hunters. Their eyes are drawn to movement. When your hand movements are soft, circular, and deliberate, you are literally hypnotizing him. This also applies to how you touch him. If you reach out to touch his arm, don't poke him or grab him abruptly. Graze him. Let the contact happen slowly. This kind of tactile grace signals that you are a sensual creature. It signals that you are connected to your body and your senses. A man notices a woman who enjoys the feeling of the world against her skin. It makes him wonder what it would feel like if those graceful, deliberate hands were touching him. It plants the seed of desire without you having to say a single word. The pause before responding. The final piece of this slow motion physics is verbal. It is the power of the pause. This is one of the hardest things for women to do, especially if you have a people pleaser engaging style. When a man asks you a question, so what do you do for work? Or what are you looking for in a relationship? Your instinct is likely to answer immediately. You want to show that you are engaged, that you have an answer, that there is no awkward silence. But immediate answers can sometimes kill the tension. They signal that you are eager to seek his approval. It can feel like a job interview where you are trying to prove you are the right candidate. Here is the shift. When he speaks to you, I want you to wait for 2 full seconds before you respond. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. In those 2 seconds, you aren't ignoring him. You are looking at him. You are absorbing his question. You are letting the words land. Why is this magnetic? First, it shows confidence. Only a woman who is secure in herself is comfortable with silence. It shows you aren't afraid of the gap. Second, it makes your answer seem much more valuable. By taking a moment to think, even if you already know the answer, you are signaling that you speak with intention. You aren't just filling the air with noise. You are choosing your words. Men respect women who value their own words. That brief pause draws him in. He actually leans forward, subconsciously, waiting for what you have to say. It creates a mini cliffhanger in the conversation. It also gives you a moment to compose yourself, ensuring that your voice comes out calm and rich, rather than high-pitched and breathless. That silence is a canvas. In that pause, he is looking at your eyes, he is feeling your presence, and he is wondering what is going on in your beautiful mind. By rushing to speak, you rob him of the pleasure of wondering about you. Give him the gift of the pause. It creates a rhythm of conversation that feels deep, intimate, and profoundly connected, rather than just a shallow exchange of information. This is how you control the flow of energy without ever being domineering. You simply pause. The auditory anchor: pitch, pace, and nervous energy. We have talked about how you move through space, but now we must talk about how you move through the airwaves. Sound is an invisible touch. Long before a man decides if he likes your outfit, his brain is processing the frequency of your voice. This is evolutionary biology at its finest. In the wild, high-pitched, rapid, and erratic sounds signal danger. A scream, a shriek, a bird alerting its flock to a predator. These are high-frequency, fast-paced sounds. When a man hears a woman speaking in a high, tight, rapid-fire register, his subconscious mind enters a state of mild alert. He might not realize it, but his cortisol levels spike slightly. He feels on edge. This is often the voice women default to when they are nervous or trying to be overly polite, the customer service voice. It comes from the throat and the head, tight and restricted. Magnetism, however, lives in the lower register. It lives in the chest and the diaphragm. When you drop your voice down just half an octave and slow the tempo, you send a completely different biological signal. Safety, comfort, pleasure. A lower, slower voice bypasses the alert center of his brain and soothes his nervous system. Think about how a mother soothes a child or how a lover whispers in the dark. It is low, it is slow, it is resonant. When you speak to a man from this place, you are literally calming him down. You are creating a sonic environment where he feels he can relax his shoulders and let his guard down. This doesn't mean you need to put on a fake, deep bedroom voice at a dinner party. That feels performative. It simply means dropping your awareness out of your head where anxiety lives and into your body. When you are nervous on a date, you will feel your breath getting shallow and your voice creeping up your throat. Catch yourself. Take a deep breath into your belly. When you speak, imagine the sound coming from your chest, not your nose. Notice the difference between saying, "I'm really excited to be here," fast, high, versus "I have been looking forward to this all week," slow, warm, grounded. The first one asks for approval. The second one offers a compliment. Men are auditory creatures in ways they don't often admit. A woman's voice can be a source of immense irritation or immense peace. If you can be the woman whose voice feels like a warm blanket to his stressed mind, he will want to call you just to hear you speak. He will want to keep you on the phone for hours, not because of what you are saying, but because the sound of you makes him feel good. That is the power of the auditory anchor. The art of warmth Once you have regulated the sound of your voice, you must look at the texture of your words. Most conversations in the modern dating world are transactional. We trade data. How was your day? It was good. I had a meeting. Where are you from? Chicago. Cool. This is information exchange. It is dry, it is cold, and it is forgettable. To be instantly magnetic, you must shift from information language to sensory language. You want to use words that carry emotional temperature, words that are warm. Warmth is created when you stop describing facts and start describing feelings and sensations. A fact stays in the head, a feeling goes to the body. For example, if he asks, "How is your pasta?" The cold answer, "It's good. I like it." The magnetic answer, "It is so rich. I love how creamy the sauce is. Do you feel the difference?" The second answer paints a picture. It invites him to imagine the sensation. It uses words like rich and creamy and love. These are sensory words. When you describe your life to him, don't just give him the bullet points of your schedule. Give him the atmosphere. Instead of saying, "I went for a walk," say, "I went for a walk. The sun felt so amazing on my skin." You are subtly inviting him into your physical experience. You are showing him that you are a woman who feels things deeply. This applies to how you speak to him, too. Men are starved for warmth. They live in a competitive, cold world of hierarchy and performance. When you use warm, inviting language, you become an oasis. Phrases like, "I feel so safe when you drive," or "I love the way you think about that," or even just, "It feels so good to sit down," lower the emotional barrier between you. You are signaling that you are not just a brain in a jar. You are a living, breathing woman who experiences pleasure, joy, and comfort. This triggers a man's desire to be the source of that pleasure. He starts to wonder, if she enjoys the sun on her skin that much, how much would she enjoy my hand on her skin? Your vocabulary plants the seeds of intimacy before you ever touch. Listening as an act of seduction. We often think of seduction or charisma as something we project outward, being the best storyteller, being the funniest person in the room. But true magnetism is actually an act of reception. It is about how you take him in. And the most potent tool for this is deep, active listening. Most people do not listen. They wait for their turn to speak. While the other person is talking, they are mentally rehearsing their next witty comment or anecdote. Men are used to this. They are used to fighting to be heard. When a woman truly listens, when she stops thinking about herself and pours her entire focus into understanding him, it is a rare and addictive drug. This is not about nodding your head and saying "aha" while checking your phone. This is about what I call the hero's gaze. When he is telling you a story, look at him as if he is the only person in the world. Let your face react to his words. If he talks about a challenge at work, let your brows furrow in concern. If he makes a joke, let your smile reach your eyes. You are acting as a mirror for his ego. When you listen with intensity, you make him feel important. You make him feel interesting. You make him feel like a king. There is a psychological concept called the halo effect. If you make a person feel smart and funny, they will attribute those qualities to you. If he leaves a date feeling, "Wow, I was really on fire tonight. I told great stories," he will look back at you and think, "She is amazing." He associates his feeling of greatness with your presence. Don't interrupt him to relate his story back to yourself immediately. If he says, "I used to play football," don't jump in with, "Oh, my brother played football." Stay with him. Ask, "What position? Did you love the adrenaline?" Dig deeper into his world before you bring it back to yours. This level of attention is incredibly seductive because it signals that you are not self-absorbed. In a narcissistic world, the woman who listens is the woman who stands out. You are giving him the stage, and in return, he will want to give you his heart. He will realize that you are the only one who truly gets him simply because you are the only one who truly listened. Emotional autonomy. The weather analogy, we have discussed the physical body and the voice, but now we must venture into the most critical pillar of magnetism, your internal emotional state. This is where most relationships either flourish or suffocate. Specifically, we need to talk about emotional autonomy. Many women fall into a trap that I call emotional mirroring. This happens when your internal state is entirely dependent on his external state. If he is happy and texting you back instantly, you are on cloud nine. You are radiant, productive, and kind. But the moment he pulls back or comes home from work in a bad mood or sounds slightly distant on the phone, your entire world collapses. You become anxious. You start asking, what's wrong? You try to fix his mood so that you can feel okay again. This dynamic kills magnetism instantly. It tells him that you do not have your own center of gravity, that you are merely a satellite orbiting his planet. It places a heavy burden on his shoulders, the responsibility of maintaining your happiness. To be instantly more magnetic, you must become the sky, not the weather. Imagine that he is the weather. Sometimes he is sunny, loving, attentive. Sometimes he is a thunderstorm, stressed, angry, distant. Sometimes he is just a gray cloud, tired. If you are the sky, you hold space for the weather, but you are not changed by it. The sky does not crumble just because it is raining. The sky remains vast, blue, and permanent above the clouds. When a man realizes that his bad mood does not destroy your peace, he becomes fascinated by you. He notices, wow, I was grumpy today, but she is still singing in the kitchen. He notices, I was distant because of work, but she didn't chase me or panic. She just went to yoga and had a great time. This creates a vacuum. Because you aren't rushing to fix him or mirror his negativity, he suddenly feels the contrast between his stress and your peace. He wants to come toward the light. He wants to leave his storm and enter your clear sky. This is the definition of magnetic. You pull him out of his funk simply by refusing to join him in it. You signal that your joy is your own property, and no one, not even the man you love, has the power to take it away from you. That kind of stability is incredibly rare, and to a man looking for a life partner, it is the most attractive trait in the world. Handling disagreement with grace. Emotional autonomy is tested most severely during conflict. How you handle a disagreement is one of the clearest indicators of your self-worth to a man. There are two common non-magnetic reactions to conflict. The first is the collapsing reaction, where you apologize profusely, cry, or abandon your own boundaries just to keep the peace. The second is the escalating reaction, where you yell, attack, or use sharp words to defend yourself. Both of these reactions come from fear of losing him or fear of being controlled. Magnetism lies in the middle path, graceful resistance. A magnetic woman is not afraid of disagreement. She does not view a difference of opinion as a threat to the relationship. Because she is emotionally autonomous, she can stand her ground without raising her voice. She can deliver a no that is wrapped in silk, but hits like iron. Men notice this immediately. Watch the difference between screaming, "You never listen to me," versus looking him in the eye, pausing, and saying calmly, "I don't feel heard right now, and I'm not going to continue this conversation until I am." The second approach is terrifyingly attractive. It shows that you have total control over your emotions. You are not unraveling. You are setting a standard. When you can express dissatisfaction without losing your composure, you signal high status. You signal that you expect to be treated well, not because you are demanding it, but because it is simply the reality of who you are. This creates safety through strength. A man wants to know that his woman is strong enough to handle him. If he feels he can walk all over you, he loses respect. If he feels he has to fight you constantly, he loses peace. But if he feels that you are a soft wall, immovable, but not aggressive, he respects you. He realizes that to be with you, he has to level up his own communication. He behaves better, not because he is scared of your anger, but because he doesn't want to disappoint your grace. Self-soothing capabilities. Finally, emotional autonomy is about what you do when he isn't there. It is about the art of self-soothing. We often look to our partners to regulate our nervous systems. We want them to tell us everything is okay. We want them to reassure us of their love constantly. While reassurance is healthy in doses, a dependency on it is repelling. If you need him to text you every hour so you don't feel anxious, you are leaking energy. You are giving him the job of being your emotional pacifier. Men notice subconsciously and instantly when a woman can self-soothe. Let's say he goes on a trip with his friends. The anxious woman texts him constantly, checks his location, and waits by the phone. The magnetic woman uses that time to pour into herself. She takes a long bath, reads a book, goes out with her girlfriends, or works on a passion project. When she self-soothes, she is telling her own inner child, I got you, we are safe. She doesn't need him to be the safety net because she has built one inside herself. This creates a dynamic called the safe harbor. When a man knows that you are okay on your own, he feels safe coming back to you. He doesn't feel the heavy weight of guilt or obligation. He feels free. And paradoxically, a man who feels free to leave is the one who rushes back the fastest. He wants to be around you because your energy is a surplus, not a deficit. You aren't looking to take his energy to fill a hole in your heart. You are overflowing with your own energy, and you are inviting him to share in it. When you can navigate your own fears, calm your own anxiety, and validate your own worth, you become a mystery to him. He wonders, how is she so complete? That mystery keeps the chase alive for decades. He realizes that he is not your entire world. He is simply the person lucky enough to share it with you. And that challenge, the knowledge that you choose him but don't need him for survival, is what makes him obsess over keeping you. The secret garden, the oversharing trap. We are moving now into a concept that creates the most intense form of psychological gravity, mystery. In an age of social media, where everyone posts their breakfast, their location, and their inner thoughts for the world to see, privacy has become the ultimate luxury. Yet, in dating and relationships, many women fall into the trap of the open book. You might believe that the way to bond with a man is to tell him everything immediately. You sit down on the first or second date, or even just a quiet Tuesday night at home, and you pour out your soul. You tell him your childhood traumas, your fears, your 5-year plan, your past relationship failures, and your deepest insecurities. You do this because you are seeking connection. You think, if I show him all of me, he will feel close to me. But psychologically, you are doing something else. You are turning on all the lights in the room. Romance and desire require shadows to survive. Think of a movie. If the director revealed the ending in the first 5 minutes, would you watch the rest? No. You watch because there is a question you need answered. You watch because there is suspense. When you overshare, you kill the suspense. You hand him the manual to your heart before he has even proven he knows how to read it. Men are natural investigators. They enjoy the process of figuring you out. They want to peel the layers back one by one. If you hand them the peeled fruit, it loses its value. Men notice instantly when a woman holds something back. It isn't that she is secretive or dishonest. It is that she has a boundary around her inner world. When he asks, what are you thinking? And you smile playfully and say, I'll tell you later. Rather than launching into a 10-minute monologue, his brain lights up. He becomes curious. His imagination starts to work. And here is the secret. A man's imagination will always paint a picture of you that is far more compelling than anything you could verbally tell him. By giving him less information, you force him to think about you more. You occupy his mental real estate. He leaves the interaction wondering, what is the rest of her story? To be magnetic, you must view your life as a VIP section. Not everyone gets a pass to walk in immediately. He has to earn the stories of your past. He has to earn the knowledge of your fears. When you treat your personal history as a privilege rather than a flyer you hand out on the street, he treats you with a completely different level of reverence. You become a puzzle he is desperate to solve rather than a headline he has already read. Having a world he can't touch. To maintain this mystery long term, you must cultivate what I call the secret garden. This is a part of your life mentally, physically, or emotionally that does not involve him. Many women make the mistake of merging identities the moment they fall in love. They stop going to their pottery class to watch his football game. They stop seeing their girlfriends on Fridays to wait for his text. They invite him into every single group chat and hobby. They want to be one. But magnetism requires two distinct poles. If you merge completely, the polarity vanishes. The spark dies. Men are incredibly drawn to a woman who has a world he cannot touch. They notice when you check your watch during a date, not because you are bored, but because you genuinely have somewhere else to be. They notice when you say, "I can't see you Tuesday. That is my painting night," or "I'm busy Sunday morning." When you have a passion that lights you up, whether it is learning a language, training for a marathon, or simply reading in a cafe alone, you become three-dimensional. You are not just his girlfriend or his wife. You are a protagonist in your own movie. This triggers a primitive desire in him, the desire to be included. If your life looks fun, rich, and full without him, he wants to fight to get into that circle. He thinks, she is having a great time at that art class. I want her to have a great time with me. He realizes he is not the sun in your solar system. He is just a planet. This also prevents the relationship from becoming heavy. If he is your only source of entertainment and joy, he feels the crushing weight of that pressure. But if he knows you have your secret garden, a place where you go to recharge, that has nothing to do with him, he feels relieved. And interestingly, he becomes jealous of that time. He starts to wonder what you are doing. He starts to miss you. And missing you is the essential ingredient for desire. You must be gone long enough for him to realize he wants you back. Your independence is the fuel for his obsession. The unavailable energy. Finally, we must distinguish between playing hard to get and actually being high value. Playing hard to get is a game. It is when you sit by the phone, see his text, and arbitrarily decide to wait 2 hours to reply just to make him sweat. It is manipulative, and smart men see right through it. It feels cold and calculated. Unavailable energy, however, is not a game. It is a reality. It is the energy of a woman whose time is her most valuable resource. Men notice immediately how you treat your time. If he texts you at 4 p.m. on a Friday asking to see you at 6 p.m. and you say yes, immediately you are signaling that your time is cheap. You are signaling that you had no plans, no structure, and were just waiting for him to call. The magnetic woman is warm, but she is scarce. If he asks for a last-minute date, she doesn't get angry. She doesn't lecture him. She simply says, warm and breezy, "I would have loved to, but I already have plans. Let's do it next week when we can plan it properly." Do you see the difference? You are not rejecting him. You are rejecting the lack of effort. You are teaching him that access to you requires foresight. Scarcity creates value. Diamonds are valuable because they are rare. Gravel is cheap because it is everywhere. When you are always available, you become gravel. When you are selectively available, you become a diamond. This unavailable energy must be authentic. You must actually fill your life so that you are busy. But even if you are just sitting at home in a face mask, watching Netflix, that is still your time. You are unavailable because you are prioritizing your rest. When a man realizes he cannot snap his fingers and have you appear, he begins to plan. He begins to invest. He books the date 3 days in advance. He texts you in the morning because he knows you might be busy at night. He starts to work for your attention. And biologically, men value what they work for. By guarding your availability, you are essentially letting him build his own attraction to you, brick by brick, effort by effort. You are giving him the gift of earning you. The social proof effect, how she treats the invisible. We often assume that a date is a two-person play. You are the lead actress, he is the lead actor, and the rest of the world is just the background set. You focus all your charm, your eye contact, and your smiles directly on him. But here is a secret about the male brain. It is constantly assessing your character by watching how you treat the people you don't have to be nice to. I call this the waiter test, but it extends to Uber drivers, cashiers, and anyone in a service role. These are the invisible people in the interaction. When a woman is hyper-focused on the man but dismissive or cold to the waiter, it sends a chilling signal to his subconscious. Why? Because it reveals that her kindness is transactional. It suggests that she is only charming when she wants something or when the person has high status. The moment she deals with someone she perceives as below her, the mask slips. Men are terrified of this. They know that eventually the honeymoon phase will end. Eventually, they might become the invisible one in the marriage. If you can snap at a waiter for getting the order wrong while looking like an angel 5 seconds later, he wonders, when will she snap at me? Magnetism comes from a spirit of generosity that does not discriminate. Watch the woman who stops the conversation to look the waiter in the eye and say a genuine thank you. Watch the woman who moves her purse to let a stranger sit down on the subway. This signals deep empathy. It signals the nurturer archetype. Biologically, men are hardwired to look for this trait in a long-term partner. They want a woman who is safe. When you treat the world with kindness, he feels proud to be with you. He sees you as a high-value woman, not because of your status, but because of your heart. Next time you are out with him, expand your circle of warmth. Smile at the hostess. Say thank you to the driver. When he sees that you are kind, when there is no reward for it, he trusts that your love for him is real, not just a performance to get a ring. The room's reaction to her. Let's scale this up. We are moving from one-on-one interaction to the social ecosystem. Men are hierarchical creatures. Whether they admit it or not, they are acutely aware of social standing and respect. They want to be with the woman that other people respect. This is called social proof. You do not need to be the loudest person in the room to have social proof. In fact, the loudest person is often compensating for a lack of it. True social magnetism is quiet. It is the ability to hold space. When you walk into a party or a gathering, how do you carry yourself? The anxious woman clings to his arm. She hides in his shadow. She relies on him to make introductions. She effectively becomes his accessory. The magnetic woman, however, can stand on her own 2 feet. Men notice with a mix of pride and arousal when their partner can navigate a room without them. When he goes to get a drink and comes back to find you laughing with a group of strangers or engaged in a deep conversation with his colleague, his attraction spikes. He sees that you are a social asset, not a social liability. Furthermore, he watches specifically how you interact with other women. This is a massive test. Many women view other attractive women as threats. They get cold, catty, or defensive. They cling tighter to their man. A magnetic woman is a queen, and a queen does not fear competition because she knows her value. When you compliment another woman, or make space for her in the circle, or smile warmly at her, you blow his mind. It shows such a high level of security. It shows you are not easily threatened. He wants to be the man who walked in with the woman everyone loves. If his friends say, wow, she's cool, or she's so easy to talk to, that external validation bypasses his logic and hits his ego. He feels like he won the lottery. He wants to lock you down because he sees that the room has already approved you. So do not shrink in social settings. Stand tall, introduce yourself, be the one who brings warmth to a cold room. When he sees the room reacting positively to you, he realizes he has something rare, a woman who lights up the world, not just his living room. Not seeking external validation. While it is good for the room to like you, the paradox of magnetism is that you must not need them to like you. This brings us to the concept of self-amusement. Most people walk through life scanning for permission. They tell a joke, and then they immediately scan the faces of everyone around them to see if they laughed. If people laugh, they feel good. If silence falls, they crumble. They are asking the world, am I okay? Am I funny? Do you approve of me? Men notice this needy energy. It feels heavy. It feels like you are asking him to constantly prop up your self-esteem. Now, picture the magnetic woman. She tells a joke and she laughs. She laughs because she thought it was funny. She wears an outfit because she loves how it feels. She dances a little bit in her seat when the music is good, even if no one else is dancing. She is not performing for the audience. She is the audience. This quality is incredibly attractive because it signals that your reality is stable. You are not a leaf blowing in the wind of public opinion. You are the tree. When a man sees that you don't look around for approval after you speak, he subconsciously respects you. He thinks she believes in herself. This applies to your relationship with him too. Do not ask, do I look fat in this? Asking for him to validate you. Instead, look in the mirror, smile, and say, I feel great in this. When you validate yourself, you free him from the job of being your emotional crutch. He can simply enjoy you. He can admire you. This indifference to the judgment of others is the ultimate sign of freedom. And freedom is sexy. It makes him want to be part of your world because your world looks like so much fun. You aren't waiting for the party to start. You brought the party with you inside your own spirit. That is the energy that makes a man cross a crowded room just to see what you are smiling about. He wants to know the secret of a woman who is happy without permission. The visual gaze and eye contact. The soft eyes technique. We have spoken about the voice and the body, but now we must address the most potent weapon in your arsenal of magnetism, the eyes. The old cliche says the eyes are the windows to the soul, but in the psychology of attraction, they are actually the doors. They decide who gets to come in and who stays out. However, there is a nuance to eye contact that most women miss. When told to make eye contact, many women accidentally adopt a look that is too intense. They stare, they widen their eyes. They try to beam attraction into the man. While this is better than looking at the floor, it can sometimes register as aggressive or predatory to the male subconscious. It feels like a hunt. True magnetism requires what I call the soft eyes technique. This is a physical adjustment. Right now, as you are listening to this, pay attention to the muscles around your eyes. Most of us carry micro tension there. We squint slightly when we are thinking. We furrow our brows when we are listening. This tension creates a hard gaze. It creates a barrier. To activate soft eyes, I want you to consciously relax the tiny muscles at the corners of your eyes and your eyelids. Imagine your eyes are resting in warm water. Let your lower eyelid droop just a fraction. This instantly changes your entire facial expression from analyzing to receiving. When you look at a man with soft eyes, you are not projecting energy at him. You are inviting energy in. It is a look of total acceptance. It signals warmth. It signals that you are safe to approach. Men are incredibly sensitive to visual rejection. They are constantly scanning a woman's face for signs of judgment. A hard gaze feels like judgment. A soft gaze feels like an open door. When you look at him with this relaxed, warm, slightly heavy-lidded expression, he feels physically drawn to you. He feels that he can rest in your gaze. It triggers a primal instinct that says, she is open to me. Practice this in the mirror. Look at yourself and relax your face until you see the sharpness disappear. That is the look that makes a man cross a crowded room to talk to you. It is the look that says, I see you and I like what I see, without you having to utter a single word. Holding the gaze. Once you have mastered the quality of the gaze, the softness, you must master the duration. This is where the real magic happens. This is where you create the soul tie. In normal social interaction, we hold eye contact for about 1 to 2 seconds before flickering away. This is polite. It keeps things comfortable. But magnetism is not about being comfortable. It is about being compelling. To create an instant spike in attraction, you must be willing to hold his gaze for just 1 second longer than feels natural. It is the 3-second rule. When there is a lull in the conversation, or right after he finishes a sentence, lock eyes with him, soft eyes, and stay there. 1, 2, 3. In those 3 seconds, a massive amount of neurochemistry is released. His brain is flooded with dopamine and oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Why? Because prolonged eye contact mimics the behavior of lovers. By doing it before you are lovers, you are hacking his biology. You are creating the feeling of intimacy before the act of intimacy. This is terrifying for many women. We are taught to look away, to be demure, or we look away because we feel exposed. When you look into a man's eyes and don't look away, you are letting him see you naked emotionally. You are saying, I am not afraid of this connection. That boldness is intoxicating to a man. It establishes a high-tension wire between the two of you. The rest of the room fades into a blur. The noise of the restaurant disappears. It creates a bubble where only the two of you exist. He will feel a sudden rush of heat. He will wonder, what is she thinking? Does she know what she is doing to me? And the answer is, yes, you do know. You are holding the space. This type of gaze communicates deep confidence. A woman who can hold a man's eyes is a woman who has nothing to hide. It challenges him. It silently asks him, are you brave enough to meet me here? Most men will be stunned by this. They are used to women who are skittish, who look at their phones, who look past them. When you lock in, you anchor him. You become the most real thing in his world. He might even stumble over his words or lose his train of thought. That is good. That is the magnetism working. You have disrupted his logic and activated his instinct. The breaking point, we have covered how to look and how long to look. Now we must cover the exit strategy. How you break eye contact is just as important as the contact itself. It is the punctuation mark at the end of the sentence. There are two main ways to break eye contact, and they send two completely different messages to his subconscious. The first way is breaking to the side or up. If you look him in the eyes and then dart your eyes to the left, or look up at the ceiling, or check your phone, you are signaling boredom. You are signaling distraction. It says, okay, I'm done with this moment. What else is happening? It severs the connection abruptly. It cools the air. The second way, the magnetic way, is breaking down. When you hold that intense soul tie gaze for 3 seconds and then slowly lower your eyes to the floor or to his mouth and then back up, you are creating a surrender signal. Biologically, exposing the neck or looking down is a sign of submission. Now, I don't mean submission in a weak way. I mean it in a primal, feminine way. It signals that you are yielding to the moment. It is incredibly coy. It is the classic blush response. When a man sees a woman hold his gaze and then shyly look down, his protective and predatory instincts are triggered simultaneously. He sees you as precious. He wants to lift your chin back up. He wants to pursue you. It creates a cat and mouse energy. You gave him the heat, and then you pulled it away gently, leaving him wanting more. So the next time you are sharing that moment, do not look at the waiter passing by. Do not look at the TV screen behind him. Look down, trace the rim of your glass, smile, a little secret smile to yourself, and then look back up at him. That return gaze, when you look back up, is the hook. It tells him, I went away for a second, but I came back to you. It creates a rhythm of connection and release that keeps the tension alive for hours. It turns a simple conversation into a dance, and he will want to dance with you all night long. Radical authenticity and flaws. The perfection boredom, we have spent a lot of time discussing techniques, how to move, how to look, how to speak, but there is a danger in advice like this. The danger is that you begin to treat yourself like a project to be managed. You might start thinking, if I can just polish every rough edge, if I can just be the perfect, smooth, flawless version of a woman, then he will never leave me. This is the perfection trap. And contrary to what magazines and social media tell you, perfection is not magnetic. Perfection is boring. Imagine walking into a museum, you see a marble statue, it is flawless. The skin is smooth, the proportions are mathematical, the expression is serene, you admire it. You might even take a picture of it. But do you want to hug it? Do you want to tell it your secrets? Do you want to curl up next to it on a rainy Sunday? No, because it is cold. It is hard. It is untouchable. Men are often intimidated by perfect women, but they rarely fall deeply in love with them. Why? Because perfection creates distance. When you present a facade of having no issues, no insecurities, and no bad days, you subconsciously signal to a man that there is no room for him. You signal that you are complete unto yourself. Even worse, a perfect woman makes a man feel judged. If you never mess up, he feels that he can never mess up. He feels he has to be on constantly. That is exhausting. Magnetism comes from the texture of your humanity. It comes from the cracks in the armor. It is the moment you trip and laugh about it. It is the moment you admit you burnt the toast. It is the moment you have a hair out of place and you don't rush to fix it. These moments signal accessibility. They tell him, I am a real human being just like you. When you drop the mask of perfection, he breathes a sigh of relief. He realizes he doesn't have to be Superman. He can just be a man. And that relief, that feeling of I can be myself around her, that is the glue of long-term commitment. So I want you to fire your internal PR manager. Stop trying to curate a brand for him. Stop hiding your face until your makeup is done. Stop pretending you understand a movie reference when you don't. The energy you spend holding up that mask is energy you are stealing from the connection. Let the mask fall. Let him see the real, messy, beautiful human underneath. That is the woman he can actually love. Owning the quirk. Now, let's get specific about these cracks in the armor. We often call them insecurities. I want you to rename them signature hooks. Every woman has something she hates about herself. Maybe you have a loud, snorting laugh. Maybe you have a crooked tooth. Maybe you are clumsy and spill things. Maybe you are terrible at math. Your instinct is to hide these things. You cover your mouth when you laugh. You stay quiet during intellectual conversations so you don't sound dumb. Here is the psychological twist. Men do not fall in love with you for your strengths. They like your strengths, but they fall in love with your quirks. Think about it. If you ask a man what he loves about his wife of 20 years, he rarely says, I love that she has perfect posture and never makes a mistake. He says, I love the way she scrunches her nose when she's confused. He says, I love that she sings off key in the shower. These quirks are what make you unique. They are the things that distinguish you from every other woman on the planet. The key, however, is your attitude toward the quirk. If you are clumsy and you drop a fork in a restaurant and you look horrified, apologize profusely, and shrink into yourself, that is not magnetic. That is insecurity. It makes him feel awkward for you. But if you drop that fork and you look at him, shrug, and laugh with a genuine, wow, I cannot take me anywhere today, that is incredibly magnetic. Why? Because it shows radical self-acceptance. It shows that you are comfortable enough with yourself to be a little messy. You aren't taking life so seriously. Men are drawn to playfulness. When you can laugh at your own quirks, you invite him to laugh with you. You become teammates in the comedy of life. You turn a potential embarrassment into an inside joke. So stop trying to fix the things that make you weird. Lean into them. If you're a bad dancer, be the worst dancer on the floor and own it with a smile. If you are a nerd about Star Wars, geek out about it unapologetically. Your quirks are your flavor. Don't dilute them. A man doesn't want water, he wants wine. He wants the specific, unique taste of you. Vulnerability as strength. We must talk about the deepest form of authenticity, emotional vulnerability. There is a misconception that strong, high-value women never feel weak. We are told to be boss babes. Never let them see you sweat. Never let a man know he got to you. But in romance, a wall is a wall. It keeps pain out, yes, but it also keeps love out. There is a massive difference between complaining and vulnerability. Complaining pushes a man away. It sounds like, you never call me, or my day was awful, everyone is stupid. That is negative energy. Vulnerability, on the other hand, pulls a man in. Vulnerability is admitting a fear or a need without blaming him. It sounds like, I'm feeling a little anxious today, I just need a hug, or I feel really scary saying this, but I'm starting to really like you. Do you feel the difference? The first one attacks, the second one reveals. When you reveal a soft spot of fear, a hesitation, a wish, you trigger his hero instinct. Men are biologically wired to protect, but they cannot protect a woman who pretends she is made of steel. When you say, I'm actually a little nervous right now, his instinct is to say, I got you, you're safe. He wants to step up. He wants to be the container for your softness. This is scary. It requires you to drop your shield. It requires you to risk rejection. But that risk is exactly what creates the bond. If you never show him your heart, he can never hold it. Radical authenticity means telling the truth about how you feel, even when it isn't cool. If you miss him, say you miss him. If you are sad, say you are sad. Don't play the I'm fine game. I'm fine is the most boring sentence in the English language. Be real. The right man is not looking for a robot who is always happy and independent. He is looking for a partner who is brave enough to be human. Your vulnerability is not a burden to him. It is an invitation. It is the greatest compliment you can give him because it says, I trust you with the real me. And that trust is the foundation of an empire. The energy of reception. Can she receive help? We have arrived at a concept that is perhaps the most difficult for the modern woman to master, yet it is the absolute bedrock of feminine magnetism. It is the energy of reception, specifically the ability to let a man help you. We live in an era of the boss babe. You have been raised to be independent. You have been taught that relying on a man is weakness. You have been trained to say, I can do it myself and I don't need anyone. While this mindset builds a great career and pays the bills, it acts as a repel spray in romantic psychology. Here is the secret. A masculine man has a biological imperative to be useful. He needs to provide value. If he cannot provide for you, protect you, or help you, he feels obsolete. He feels like a spare part in your well-oiled machine. When you are on a date and he reaches for the check, or he opens the car door, or he offers to carry your heavy bag, what is your instinct? Do you say, no, I got it? Do you fight him for the bill? Do you quickly grab the door before he can get there? Every time you say, I got it, you are subconsciously telling him, there is no role for you here. I am the man and the woman in this relationship. Magnetism requires you to step back and allow him to step forward. This is not about being weak. You know you can open the door. You know you can buy your own dinner. You are capable. But in the dance of polarity, you choose to surrender that task to him as a gift. When you let him lift the heavy suitcase, you are giving him a microdose of purpose. You are letting him feel strong. You are letting him feel like a provider. I want you to try a radical experiment next time you are with a man. If you drop something, don't dive to the floor to pick it up immediately. Wait a split second. See if he moves. If he offers to fix something in your house, don't say, I'll just call a handyman. Say, that would be amazing, thank you. Watch his posture change. He will stand taller. He will puff his chest out slightly. He will look at you with more affection. Why? Because you made him feel capable. This is the damsel in distress trope, reimagined for the modern world. You aren't a damsel because you are helpless. You are a queen who allows her knight to serve her because it brings him joy. It is an act of generosity to let him be the hero. When you stop blocking his attempts to help, you create a space where he feels needed. And a man who feels needed is a man who stays, receiving compliments without deflection. The second pillar of reception is verbal. How do you handle praise? This is a litmus test for your self-worth, and men watch it closely. Picture this scenario. You have spent an hour getting ready. You look beautiful. You meet him, and he says, wow, you look stunning tonight. What do? Option A, you deflect. Oh, this old dress? I've had it for years. Or, really, I feel like my hair is a mess. Or, stop it, I look tired. Option B, you receive. You look him in the eye, smile, and say, thank you. I'm glad you think so. Most women choose option A. They do it because they want to seem humble. They don't want to appear arrogant. But psychologically, when you deflect a compliment, you are rejecting a gift. Imagine you bought him a birthday present, wrapped it beautifully and handed it to him, and he pushed it back and said, no, this is garbage. I don't want it. You would feel hurt. You would feel stupid for trying. Eventually, you would stop buying him presents. A compliment is a verbal gift. When he says you are beautiful, he is offering you his perspective. When you argue with him, no, I look tired, you are essentially telling him, your taste is bad, you are wrong. I am not beautiful. You are insulting his judgment. A magnetic woman knows that her job is simply to say, thank you. This requires deep confidence. It requires you to tolerate the spotlight. When you accept a compliment without fidgeting or making a self-deprecating joke, you signal high status. You signal that you are comfortable being admired. This creates a positive feedback loop. When he sees that his compliments land, that they make you smile and light up, he wants to give you more of them. He feels successful. He thinks, I made her happy. If you constantly deflect, he feels drained. He feels like he has to convince you of your own worth, which is exhausting work. So the next time he praises you, bite your tongue. Do not explain the dress. Do not apologize for the hair. Just inhale the praise. Let it land in your body. Smile and say thank you. That simple acceptance is incredibly seductive because it shows you are a woman who knows her value and you are happy that he sees it too. The pleasure of presence. The final aspect of reception is the most sensual. It is the ability to receive the moment. It is the ability to feel pleasure. Men are captivated by women who know how to enjoy life. We live in a cerebral, analytical world. We are always in our heads, planning, worrying, thinking, but romance lives in the senses. When you are out to dinner with him, how do you eat? Do you rush through the meal while talking about work? Do you pick at the food and complain about calories, or do you savor it? A magnetic woman has a relationship with pleasure. When she takes a bite of dessert, she closes her eyes for a second. She makes a sound of enjoyment. She says, "Oh my God, this chocolate is incredible." She lets the experience wash over her. This is not just about food. It is about the wind on your face, the music in the car, the feel of the sheets. Why does this matter to a man? Because of a deep subconscious link. If a woman cannot enjoy a piece of cake, how can she enjoy intimacy? If she is too stiff to dance to a song on the radio, how can she let go in the bedroom? A woman who is pleasure resistant feels cold. A woman who is pleasure receptive feels alive. Men are drawn to life. They want to be around the woman who makes the world feel more vibrant. When he sees you truly enjoying the wine he poured or the restaurant he picked, he feels a vicarious thrill. He is experiencing the world through your senses. If you are constantly analyzing the moment, is this table too loud? Is the service slow? You kill the vibe. You are in critic mode, not lover mode. Practice the art of savoring. Slow down, taste your coffee, feel the fabric of your dress, listen to the bass in the song. When you are present in your body, you radiate a warm, inviting glow. You become a siren. He looks at you and thinks, I want to be the reason she makes that face. I want to be the source of her pleasure. By simply enjoying your own existence, you invite him to come closer and enjoy it with you. You become the party, not the chaperone. Grooming versus styling. The clean aesthetic. We cannot talk about magnetism without addressing the visual. However, we are not going to talk about beauty in the way fashion magazines do. We are going to talk about it the way biology does. There is a massive disconnect between what women think men notice and what men actually notice. Women often believe that attraction is built on complexity, intricate contouring, false lashes, elaborate nail art, and the latest runway trends. You might spend hours painting a new face on top of your own, believing this armor is what makes you desirable. But biologically, the male brain is not scanning for trends, it is scanning for health. The most magnetic look you can cultivate is the clean aesthetic. This doesn't mean you can't wear makeup. It means that your grooming should prioritize the foundation over the decoration. Men are incredibly sensitive to textures and hygiene markers that signal vitality. They notice if your hair looks shiny and soft, or if it is stiff with product. They notice if your skin looks hydrated and dewy, or if it is cakey with powder. They notice your teeth. They notice if your nails are clean and manicured, regardless of the color. This is the freshness factor. A woman who looks fresh, who looks like she just stepped out of a shower and applied a little moisturizer, triggers a much stronger biological attraction response than a woman who looks like she spent 3 hours in a salon chair. Why? Because freshness signals accessibility and reality. Heavy, caked on makeup acts as a barrier. It tells him, you can't touch me or you'll ruin the art. The clean aesthetic invites touch. It says, I am comfortable in my own skin. It suggests that you are high maintenance about your self-care. You respect your body, but low maintenance about your vanity. You don't need a mask. So if you have limited time or budget, invest it in your canvas. Invest in skincare. Invest in hair health. Keep your makeup light, enhancing your eyes and lips without hiding your skin texture. When a man looks at you up close, and if you are magnetic, he will be up close. You want him to see you, not a layer of product. The confidence to be clean is a silent roar of self-worth that drowns out every other woman in the room who is hiding behind a mask. Dressing for your body, not trends. Now, let's discuss the clothes that drape over that canvas. This is where many women sabotage their own magnetism by falling into the trend trap. Fashion industries are designed to sell clothes, not to attract men. They push silhouettes that look good on a hanger or a specific body type, often ignoring the reality of the female form. When you wear something just because it is in style, but it doesn't fit your body architecture, you create a disruption in your energy field. We call this the fidget factor. Men notice immediately when a woman is uncomfortable in her clothes. If you are constantly tugging at your hemline, pulling up a strapless bra, or sucking in your stomach because the jeans are too tight, you are killing the vibe. You cannot be present in the moment if you are battling your outfit. Magnetism requires flow. It requires you to move freely. A man loves to watch a woman walk, but he loves the sway, not the struggle. When you dress for your specific body shape, honoring your curves, your height, and your lines, you create visual harmony. This is deeply pleasing to the male eye. He might not know anything about fashion. He might not know what high-waisted or A-line means, but his brain recognizes harmony. He looks at you and thinks, everything fits. This also signals confidence. A woman who ignores a trend because it doesn't suit her is a woman who thinks for herself. She is saying, I know who I am, and I frame myself accordingly. Furthermore, touch comes into play here again. Wear fabrics that invite contact. Soft silks, cottons, cashmeres, clothes that look hard, stiff, or overly complicated create a psychological do not touch sign. Clothes that look soft and move with you create a come closer sign. The next time you dress for a date, do the sit test. Sit down in front of a mirror. Can you breathe deeply? Can you lean forward to laugh without adjusting something? Do you feel sexy or do you feel restricted? If you feel restricted, change. The most magnetic outfit you own is the one you forget you are wearing. When you aren't thinking about your clothes, you are thinking about him. And when you are thinking about him, your eyes light up, your body relaxes, and you become the most captivating thing he has ever seen. Dress to honor your body, not to appease a magazine editor. He is dating you, not the dress. The signature scent. Finally, we arrive at the invisible accessory that lingers long after you have left the room. Your scent. The sense of smell is the only sense that bypasses the logic center of the brain and goes directly to the limbic system, the emotional and memory center. This is why you can smell a specific cologne and instantly be transported back to a high school boyfriend from 20 years ago. Scent is a time machine. To be instantly magnetic, you must weaponize this biology. You need a signature scent. Many women make the mistake of changing their perfume every day or wearing whatever was on sale. This prevents you from creating an olfactory imprint. You want him to associate a specific smell with you and only you. Find a scent that mixes with your natural body chemistry. It shouldn't be overpowering. It shouldn't announce your arrival from across the street. It should be a secret that is only revealed when he enters your personal space. This is the lean-in factor. When you wear a subtle, alluring scent on your pulse points, your neck, your wrists, behind your ears, you reward him for getting close. When he leans in to hug you or whispers in your ear, he is hit with this wave of essence. It is intoxicating. But the real power happens when you are not there. Ideally, your scent should linger on his jacket after a hug or on his pillowcase. When he smells that scent later, his brain will involuntarily flood with images of you. You are haunting him in the most beautiful way possible. This creates a sense of longing. He smells vanilla and sandalwood at a coffee shop, and suddenly he misses you. He is biologically tethered to you. So choose wisely. Find a scent that feels like an extension of your spirit, whether it is floral, musky, or fresh. Make it your trademark. Apply it religiously. It is an invisible hook that sinks deep into his subconscious, ensuring that even when you are miles away, you are still taking up space in his mind. In the game of magnetism, being memorable is just as important as being present. Scent ensures you are never truly gone. The after effect, how he feels when she leaves. We have spent this entire journey discussing how to be magnetic while you are in the room. But the true test of magnetism, the moment that actually determines if he calls you again, or if he proposes, or if he commits, happens when you leave the room. I call this the after effect. Most women obsess over the performance of the date. They replay every word they said, wondering, did I look good? Was I funny? But a man's attraction isn't solidified during the date. It is solidified in the silence that follows. When you walk out the door, what is the emotional residue you leave behind? There are two types of after effects. The first is the energy vampire. This is the woman who, even if she is beautiful, requires so much validation, so much reassurance, and so much management that when she leaves, the man feels tired. He might physically exhale a sigh of relief. He feels drained. He needs to recharge from her. This woman will never get a long-term commitment because instinctually, he knows he cannot sustain that energy expenditure. The second type is the solar flare. This is the magnetic woman. When she leaves, the room feels colder, the colors seem a little less bright. He feels energized, inspired, and slightly high on life. But simultaneously, he feels a void. This is crucial. You want him to fill the void. Men notice how they feel in your absence. If he sits down on his couch after you leave and finds himself smiling at the ceiling, replaying a joke you made, or feeling more optimistic about his own life because of your encouragement, you have won. You have become a source of fuel. To achieve this, you must focus on being an energy giver rather than an energy taker. An energy taker asks, do you like me? An energy giver says, I see you. An energy taker complains about the food. An energy giver laughs at the terrible service. Your goal is to ensure that his nervous system associates you with a dopamine spike, not a cortisol spike. If every time he interacts with you, he feels better, stronger, and calmer than he did before, his brain will literally become addicted to your presence. He will crave you, not just sexually, but energetically. He will seek you out like a plant seeks the sun, simply because life feels better when you are shining on him. The open loop ending. Now, how do you ensure that this after effect is potent? You must master the art of the exit. You must learn the psychological power of the open loop. Human brains are wired to obsess over unfinished tasks. If you hear a song cut off before the chorus, it gets stuck in your head. If a movie ends on a cliffhanger, you talk about it for days. This is how you must view your interactions with men. The biggest mistake women make is staying too long. You are having a great time, the chemistry is flowing, and you don't want it to end, so you stay. You order another drink. You keep talking until you run out of things to say. You let the energy peak, and then you let it plateau, and finally, you let it slowly die down until there is an awkward silence and someone says, well, I guess we should go. That is a closed loop. You satisfied his hunger completely. He is full. He doesn't need to wonder about you because he got everything he wanted. Magnetism requires you to leave while the party is still loud. You must cultivate the discipline to end the date, the phone call, or the text chain when it is at its absolute highest point. Leave when you are both laughing. Leave when the tension is thickest. Leave when he is in the middle of a story. Say, I am having the best time. And I hate to cut this short, but I actually have to get going. This is psychologically devastating to a man in a good way. His brain screams, no, wait, I wasn't done. By leaving at the high point, you freeze that moment in his memory. When he looks back on the date, he remembers the laughter and the high energy. He doesn't remember the awkward lull at the end because you didn't let it happen. This creates an open loop. He is left holding the bag of desire. He goes home thinking about what he wanted to say next. He replays the high moments. He is left wanting more. This applies to texting too. Don't text back and forth until the conversation dries up into one-word answers. End the conversation when it's funny and flirtatious. Say, I've got to run, but this made my day. Talk soon. By denying him the satisfaction of a boring conclusion, you guarantee that he will reach out again to close the loop. You become the song he can't get out of his head. Consistency of character. We have reached the final piece of the puzzle, and it is the glue that holds all these techniques together. Consistency. Men are observant. They are constantly looking for cracks in the facade. If you are the slow motion, warm-voiced, open-looped goddess on the first 3 dates, but then on the fourth date you revert to being anxious, loud, and needy, the spell is broken. He will feel deceived. He will think, oh, the first girl was just an act. This is the real her. Magnetism is not a costume you put on for special occasions. It must become your character. This is why we focus on internal shifts like emotional autonomy and radical authenticity rather than just pickup lines. You cannot fake a calm nervous system for 6 months. Eventually, the truth comes out. Men notice patterns. When he realizes that you are consistently kind to waiters, not just once, he trusts your heart. When he realizes that you consistently handle disagreements with grace, he trusts your stability. When he realizes that you consistently have a life outside of him, he respects your time. Consistency creates safety. And for a man to fall in love, to truly surrender his freedom to one woman, he needs to feel safe. He needs to know that the woman he wakes up next to is the same woman he went to sleep with. This doesn't mean you can't have bad days. It doesn't mean you can't be human. But your baseline frequency must remain steady. If you apply these 10 habits sporadically, you will be confusing. If you apply them consistently, you will be undeniable. You are building a reputation with him. You are teaching him who you are. And once he accepts that this magnetic, warm, high-value energy is not just a trick, but the essence of your soul, he will realize that he cannot find this anywhere else. That is when dating turns into devotion. That is when he stops looking at other women because they all seem like dim light bulbs compared to your sun. Be the sun. But more importantly, be the sun every single day, becoming the magnet. Integration is not about performance. We have covered a tremendous amount of ground today. We have traveled from the physics of your hand movements to the tone of your voice, from the depths of your emotional autonomy to the way you say goodbye. Looking at this list of 10 chapters, it is very easy to feel overwhelmed. You might be sitting there thinking, how am I supposed to remember all of this? How can I possibly slow down, listen actively, make soft eye contact, and hold a mystery all at the same time? If you are feeling that pressure, I want you to stop right now. Take a deep breath. The goal of this video was not to give you a checklist of things you must perform. Magnetism is not a performance. In fact, performance is the opposite of magnetism. Performance is anxious. Performance is trying to be something you are not. Magnetism is simply the result of removing the blocks that are hiding your natural light. You do not need to memorize these 10 points like a script. Instead, I want you to view them as a permission slip. Permission to slow down, permission to be quiet, permission to have boundaries, permission to enjoy your life without needing a man to witness it. Most of the behaviors we discussed today, slowness, warmth, reception, are actually your natural state. The anxiety, the rushing, and the people-pleasing are the unnatural habits you picked up from a chaotic world. You don't need to learn how to be magnetic, you just need to unlearn the habits that are making you frantic. Start small. Pick just one of these chapters. Maybe this week, you focus entirely on the physics of slow motion. Next week, you focus on the auditory anchor. Let these changes integrate into your personality slowly. Remember, a magnet doesn't try to attract metal, it doesn't strain or sweat, it simply rests in its nature and the attraction happens automatically. When you internalize these truths, you stop doing the work of chasing and you start enjoying the ease of receiving. You are not building a new you, you are revealing the true you. The mirror exercise. Before you click away, I want to give you one final practical tool to seal this transformation. We call this the mirror exercise. We often look in the mirror to critique. We look for the pimple, the wrinkle, the gray hair. We look with the eyes of a judge. Today, I want you to look with the eyes of a lover. Tonight, when you are alone, I want you to stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eyes, use that soft eyes technique we talked about, hold your own gaze for 10 seconds. And I want you to say this to yourself, either out loud or in your mind. I am the prize. I am whole. I am magnetic. It might feel silly at first. You might feel resistance. That resistance is just the old story trying to survive. Push through it. Why are we doing this? Because a man can only see you as clearly as you see yourself. If you look in the mirror and see a woman who is too old, too loud, or too broken, he will pick up on that frequency. He will treat you like you are broken. But if you look in the mirror and see a woman who is a secret garden, a woman of value, a woman who is comfortable in her skin, he will treat you like royalty. You have to believe in your own magnetism first. You have to buy your own product before you can sell it to anyone else. This exercise grounds everything we have learned into your physical body. It reminds you that the source of your power is not in his reaction to you, but in your relationship with yourself. You are now armed with the secrets of the male subconscious. You know what he notices. You know that he craves peace, he craves warmth, and he craves the mystery of a woman who is fully alive. But knowing is not enough. You must embody. The world is full of women who are beautiful but frantic, women who are successful but exhausted, women who are giving everything they have and getting crumbs in return. You are no longer one of those women. You have stepped out of the race. You have stopped chasing the butterfly, and you have started building the garden. Trust in your own power. Trust that when you lean back, he will lean forward. Trust that when you are silent, he will listen. Trust that you are enough, exactly as you are, without the armor of perfection. I want to hear from you. Which of these 10 traits resonated with you the most? Is it the slow motion? Is it the secret garden? Or maybe the after effect? Scroll down to the comments right now and let me know. I read your stories, and I am constantly inspired by the community of magnetic women we are building here. If you found value in this deep dive, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are going to continue unlocking the psychology of love, intimacy, and power in the videos to come. You don't want to miss what's next. Until then, slow down, breathe, and remember, you are the magnet.